Today we have former world #1 Olympic silver medalist Dinara Safina. She made it thrice to the finals of Grand Slams, one in Australia and two at Roland Garros. She has amassed 12 WTA titles, and she's popularly known as younger sister of Marat Safin, who's two-time Grand Slam champion. So Dinara, welcome to our show.
Thank you. Really happy to see everyone.
And we here at ES, we are a digital media house. We cover about 11 to 12 sports, and tennis is one of our thriving divisions. And last year, we were in 2022, there were more than 120 million page views for tennis.
Wow, that's amazing. Congrats.
So, since your retirement, you have been coaching many junior players, and you have been involved as the liaison of WTA and ATP and several tournaments. And how does your retirement life look like?
Well, honestly, I worked with the one player, and which was 1-on-1, and about working with juniors, it's not quite like this. I was more helping them, like just giving some advices, but I didn't had any of the player or any junior that I would work like constantly, and they just like several advices and all this. And yeah, I've been working I think 3 years or 4. I worked in Madrid during the tournament in Madrid, and then I worked for 2 years at St. Petersburg in Russia for the ATP and the WTA, because they had women tournament in February, and then they had, I think it was after US Open, straight after US Open. So I stopped after when the COVID started. So I stopped working, and yeah, now it's another situation which doesn't exist at the moment. This tournament they don't play, and well, life is I would say more quiet, less traveling, and I guess more time that you spend with your friends and family.
Speaking about your family, how is Marat Safin doing?
Marat is doing good. he's always doing good. Yeah, he's good. Thank you for asking.
Do you guys still play tennis together?
Actually, I think last time we played together, it was when he had to participate in the, I think it was Legends. They play in Royal Albert Hall, and then he had to practice, and I think we played like a couple of times, but not much actually.
Who beats whom, and what do the score lines look like?
Don't even ask. There is no chance. No chance even to win one game.
Okay, it's still the same.
He's still the same. Maybe even better because he's more calm now, and he sees different way tennis. I guess physically he's not as fit as he used to be, but he's much more wise now.
So your family is one of the rarest families in tennis. Like both of you, the siblings, duo, your brother and sister, you managed to attain the pinnacle of tennis. And how does it look like when you look back at your glory days?
Well, to tell you the truth, when you're doing something like when you play tennis, it's you play in tournament. I mean, everyone has his own schedule and own calendar, and you don't really think about it during your career. Well, and afterwards, well, I think it's something that is really. Unbelievable what we achieved, and I don't know if it will be possible that some other family will achieve the same. But it's I mean, I wish every brother and sister to achieve this goal, because it's something unbelievable, and especially for their parents, it's something that they can be like how you say this, not the honor for them, it's they can be proud. I would say that they can be really proud that they have really like unique kids. I would say.
So I think besides you and Marat, Venus and Serena Do you know
Yeah.
anyone else who has managed to do this, attain this feat?
I mean, what achieved Venus and Serena, I think it's something more than just achievement. It's something that is it's unbelievable. I mean, how many Grand Slam has Serena and Venus, and they both together? This I doubt that someone can achieve, because it's they put very high, like a perspective. But like brother and sister, I mean, me unfortunately I don't have a Grand Slam title, but I played a couple finals, and my brother has two. So this, I think, it's more possible to achieve.
And your family is really established when it comes to it, when it comes to tennis. Like, you come from a tennis family, your parents were well read and educated in tennis, and your brother need not to mention, like, world number one, Grand Slam champion. And while growing up, you mentioned it wasn't easy growing up in a sporting family, since there was constant pressure on you. And even before you understood the world outside and the sporting world, there was immense pressure on you. So, how did you handle all this as a kid?
Well, the I think it's one of the thing that beside that Marat is unbelievable player. He also had a lot of attention from the women's side, from the crowd, because I mean the people, they really love to see him play. I mean, I think it's the way he was playing when he was playing at his best, even not in his best. It was always fun to see him, to watch him, to see his emotions on the court. I think he was pretty alive when he was playing, if you can understand correct what I mean by saying alive. Like, he would never hide his emotions, and it was entertaining to watch him. And from my side, it was honestly, from one part it was not easy, but it's not easy maybe first second year, but then you just if you or you accept it, and you say, okay, I will be always his sister, and no matter what. But you deep inside you say, like, but I have my way, and you just don't pay attention on it. Like, it's something that will be always with you, that you are his sister. So you cannot erase it, in your life. So at the moment when I said, okay, doesn't matter what I will achieve, or what I will win or lose, I will always be his sister. Okay, and then it started to be easier. But before, it was something. From one side, it was my motivation, because I wanted, like, to be. I was like, I want to be better than you, better than you. But then I realized, because he's very I think very popular as a person. It's not someone, he's a good, but the people that don't really pay attention on him. He was just a good, let's say, like, some good player, but Marat, beside being a great player, he was always very interesting to the people. So if you start to compete with this, and to fight and try to get more attention, first of all you will start to lose more concentration. You will start to focus on other things beside playing tennis. But at that moment I just accepted it, that I'm his sister, and well, I have my own life and I have my own career, and I started to focus more on what I'm doing.
So, I think the healthy competition at home made you a better player every day when you trained.
Sorry.
The healthy competition which was there at home, so that made you a better player every day when you trained.
No, I mean, it was not like competition. We have 6 years difference. So when he was growing up, and the moment when he started to play the tournaments, I was still young. I would watch him play and say, "Ah, I want to be there." Also, I would love to compete in this tournament. So it was not a competition. It was, I think, more motivation than competition, which is much different and much positive.
So, you have had a fantastic career yourself. You have won multiple titles, medals. And so, what is that one memory that stands out in your career, in your head? Like, when you look back, like, okay, this was my moment. So, which is that one win, one victory, which is close to your heart?
Which is in I think it was I would say the tournament in Berlin, which completely turned around my career. I was like a top 20 player. I was okay. I think first it was tournament in Miami at the same year in 2008 when I beat Lindsay Davenport. I think I played one of the best matches ever, and then I was like, wow, like I can play this tennis. And then it was tournament in Berlin, which I think I played. It how it when everything connected. My will of winning, and then my game really clicked, and believe in myself and everything. And since then, I think I just started to play better, and not only play better. I started to believe more in myself and started to believe that I can be, let's say, higher than just top 20. And yeah, and just focused on day by day on each match.
I remember you mentioned like your career before Berlin tournament and your career after Berlin tournament. So
Hmm.
both of them like they're like black and white opposite.
Well, I wouldn't say that black. I still had some good moments before 2008. I would say it's more like gray because I won a tournament. I won Gas de France in Paris. I beat Amélie Mauresmo in the final. Then I had being very young, I won a Fed Cup tournament. Uh, which it was at that moment it was Fed Cup. Now it's a Billie Jean King Cup, I think. Yeah, so I still had like some good wins, but I didn't had them that constantly. I think in 2006, I think in one of the tournaments I played final in Rome, and yeah, so I had some wins. I would say better gray than black. I don't like black.
And the Berlin tournament was the only tournament where you beat Serena Williams as well, if you
Well, yeah,
remember.
the only lucky time, I would
Yeah.
say.
So also the year 2008 was definitely your year. Like I would say, you made it to the finals of
Hmm.
Roland Garros and also a
Yes.
silver medal in China.
Yeah, it was. I think it was really nice year. It was unbelievable run, and like sometimes how life can be. Like 2008, the beginning of the year was so, I would say, poorly. Like I couldn't win one of the matches, and you know, and then suddenly from just doing practicing and trying to do your best, that in one moment one tournament can change completely your career. And sometimes I see some players when they struggle, and it's like you always want to say, like, listen, like, don't worry, like, it's just you need one good win, one good tournament, and really your career can turn around. And this is, I think, the thing that each player has to keep in their mind. If they do the right thing, if they practice hard, and if they really dedicate to tennis, there is always turnaround, like generally, like in life. Even if it's something not going in your way, but you know that you're honest to yourself, there will be always chance that you can change your life. That same in sport.
So at Roland Garros, if I'm not wrong, you played against your Russian compatriots. So first,
Yeah,
speaking
I think three of them.
about Maria Sharapova,
No, three. Yes,
Maria,
three.
can you name them?
Yeah, I know. It's Maria, then Dementiva, and then
Yes,
Kuznetsova.
exactly. So Maria against Sharapova, you saved match points. Again
Yes,
against Dementiva, you
Dementiva.
saved match points, and then it was a tough
Yeah,
match with Kuznetsova as well.
yeah,
And then
yeah, yeah,
finally, like it was Anna Ivanovic in the final.
yeah.
Yeah, while Anna was in conversation with us lately, and
Mm-hmm.
she really praised about the level of tennis you played throughout the tournament and also during the final match. And she was telling like it was really difficult for her to overcome your power during that French Open final.
Mm-hmm.
And do you still cherish that memory from that final? I'm sure like it wasn't your best day, but still like do you still cherish that memory? And are you in touch with Ivanovic right now?
No, I'm not in touch with her, but I do follow her on Instagram. And like unfortunately, I quit tennis earlier than her. And during our career in tennis, we were like talking a little bit with each other, but we were never very close. And when we stopped, like we never got in touch until now. You never know. Maybe like this year, maybe we see somewhere each other. But yeah, for that final, I think honestly, like I don't have regret for the tournament, anything. And I think Anna played some really. She was maybe a little bit more fresh physically and emotionally, because I had let's say, like you said, like tough match against Maria and against Elena, and then against Svetlana I played really well, and against Anna, beside that, she was playing really unbelievable. Honestly, like I give all the credit to her that she really, really played well, and from my side, if I would be, like a little bit more fresh physically, mentally, emotionally, maybe, but it's I could be more fresh and doesn't change anything. It was my run and it was like this. And just that in the final, Anna was much more, um, much better than me. That's it.
So, if given a chance, would you like to go back in time and change something from that match, or something that you wished
No,
for? Like, I should have got more rest. I shouldn't have played more taxing matches, maybe.
no. I mean, uh, to different. What I beat Maria and I beat Elena. Not to play with them 3 sets. Well, when I was stepping on the court, I definitely didn't want to, play 3 sets and save much point. But sometimes this is what it takes to win the match. Until you don't shake the hands, the match is not over. So to win those matches, I had to go through this, and no, I think I've done everything what I could, and it was only good enough to until the final.
And speaking about your rivalry with Serena Williams, both of you
Hmm.
have played numerous competitive matches against each other, and
Hmm.
she recently retired like last year in September.
Hmm.
So, do you feel it's an end of an era in women's game? Like, she played almost for 3 decades, and 3 decades is what, like 6 to 7 generations of tennis almost.
Yeah,
So, do you think like it is an end of an era in women's tennis?
I mean, I think it's like everywhere, like sometimes you think, oh, this is the end of the era, and you have some maybe years when there is no really someone that you would say like, oh, this is the next generation. Then someone comes up and plays even better. It's always like this. You remember when Pete Sampras was there, when he had, everybody was saying, "Oh, no chance that somebody can win more Grand Slam than he did," and then you see Roger, then it's like, oh, okay, Roger, there is no chance that some, and then Rafa, then Novak Djokovic, So I think it's always there. Like when you look at something from the present position, you say, oh, there is no chance that somebody will be better. But then after 10 years, 15 years, you see like, oh, there is another one which is much better and much more interesting to watch. If you take like players who were playing, before, you would say, oh, there is no chance. But tennis is improving. Like there is no different, techniques, tactics, and everything is changing, and it's changing much faster than it used to be before, with all the technologies and everything. And I think like now we're just at the moment of transformation, and it will come couple of players. I'm not sure even maybe from this generation, which is competing now, but maybe in 2 years comes up like really 3, 4 players which are gonna be with a completely different, style, mentality, and the view of the game. I don't know. It could be.
Since you mentioned about Roger Federer, even he
Hmm.
announced his retirement last year in September.
Mm-hmm.
and he once upon a time he was a fierce foe of your brother Marat.
Yeah.
Also, they were really good friends off the court. So, how did you feel when he retired from tennis?
Well, it's sad, of course. Like you have to admit, like it's not that it's sad. You understand that sooner or later it will come. But to tell you, like it's sad that like you've been living with this person during the Grand Slam for so many years, and you're like, how is it possible that he's not in the draw anymore? But from other side, like it will happen to anyone sooner or later. But it's just that he was, beside that he been amazing player, amazing person, competitor, athlete, and also he was just too perfect. That's why the people are like, oh, we're gonna miss you because you're too perfect, Roger. We need one more like this.
So, according to you, who is the goat in men's tennis?
In men's tennis, mm, well, from now I cannot say because all the players that are playing now, they're like already big names. I mean, if I would say, okay, Alcaraz,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but Alcaraz has already been number one. Yannick Sinner, he's already top 10 player. So, you have to look at the juniors or maybe somebody who's 15 years old. And me, I didn't watch any Grand Slam juniors, to see that this one has a good potential. And the problem in juniors, like you can see the player and you can say, wow, he's amazing potentials and he can be really tough one. And then suddenly happens, and I don't want to complain anymore. When, this transformation comes from junior to the ATP, and when they start to lose matches, they start, and then they're like, okay, they give up. So it's really tough one, but I'm sure there are a lot of will be a lot of players like who is, I mean, let's say Yannick Sinner and Alcaraz, Zverev, Medvedev, Rublev, Khachanov, all these players, they are motivation for one big generation. This is my opinion. I can be wrong. I don't know, but this is what I'm thinking while talking with you.
Right. And so, if you mentioned like tennis is changing, tennis is evolving, tennis is improving day by day. And what are the the subtle differences that you find in tennis nowadays, and which wasn't there while you were playing? And like about the current competition and all, what's your opinion on that?
Well, at least in America there was no umpires, line umpires. There was already Hawkeye everywhere.
Yeah,
It's a big change.
that's a technology that has like a technology has changed that game.
Yeah, so now you cannot, sometimes like you can have like a bad line call. Now there is no bad line calls. Everything is correct. Well, changing. I only see. I mean, in women, I would say it's a little bit tough for me to see like big difference. But in men tennis, what I see, I think Alcaraz.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I don't remember how Rafa was when he was 20, but the way Carlos is moving, the way he's playing, the way his motivation on court and his behavior, it's really like very impressive. I would say from women tennis. I don't see right now. I mean, I don't want to take Iga Świątek. I think she's one of the. I mean, she's the best player on tour. But changing, I think they're not afraid so much. They don't have so much respect to. Okay, now they don't have anymore. Let's say before it was big difference. Sometimes it would be, let's say, you would be 16 years old and somebody's 29. So it's a big. Now they're more or less all the same age. So they don't have so much, respect to the other one in a good way. Respect, like they're not afraid. They have respect, and they go, but they don't have like that. They're not afraid. Oh my God, like this is the person. No, they're all friends. They're all very close. So for them, this distance is very much shorter. So I think this really changed. They're all friends, and that's why their matches are much more entertaining and fun, because it's not like, oh, she lost. I mean, sometimes it happens 6-love, 6-love, or 6-love. But with the big players, they always play like 3 sets, because they're not so afraid, and they really play unbelievable matches. Like you would see Rybakina playing against Sabalenka, unbelievable match. First in the final in Australia, then they play final in Indian Wells, Yeah, and then you would watch Rybakina in the final at Miami. They all play unbelievable matches, yeah, and really interesting to watch them play, how they compete with each other.
Okay, that's interesting to know. Also, like just before COVID, during Australian Open Finals 2020, we saw you in the box of Sophia
Ah,
Kenin. Do you remember? Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So, are you considering coaching as a career, coaching tennis professionals?
Well, I mean, to say like to coach full time, it would be very difficult, like, because you really have to dedicate, and then you have to, to travel full time, and um, and I mean, then you don't have time for your family. I mean, you start, let's say, preparation middle of November, and you finish until beginning of November. So you would never see, I mean, family. And then you, okay, if someone is living in and practicing in Monaco, yeah. But if someone says, okay, I'm from, I live in America, and I practice there. This is my base, and I would like that you come there. And then you will say like, okay, then I have to move everything. And so, but what I really would love to do is to be maybe like to do a few weeks. I mean, some weeks, which would be interesting for me. Maybe it could be also interesting for the players, because I mean, sometimes to do full schedule for them with the same coach, maybe also not really necessary, or maybe because they need someone, like, to have advice from the side.
Mhm.
So I think this could be interesting. Yeah. I don't like to say mentor. No, I think I would be like, or like additional coach, which is maybe not, but like a head coach that I could share, my experience, and maybe I can help them to improve their game, to grow. Yeah, this, like, part time, definitely it's something that I'm interested in.
And whom would you like to coach? Be it like ATP or WTA?
No, I mean, definitely it will be WTA,
Whose
because
team you would like to join?
I don't know.
Mhm.
Right now, I was not really thinking any of the team, um, because I haven't been in a tournament lately, like, I mean, I would watch some matches on TV, but I wouldn't be, let's say, to go and watching Grand Slam and say, okay, this player is interesting, it has, like, you can really help. I don't want to say like top players, because I don't want to. They have already unbelievable team, it's, and say, how can I improve if they're already there? It's something.
Maybe who's your
It's
favorite WTA favorite from the present generation?
who I like to
Yeah,
watch.
your favorite tennis player.
I love to watch Rybakina and Sabalenka.
Okay, and both of them have been doing really well this year.
I mean, and I'm really happy for them, and especially, for both of them, I'm really happy, because I remember how last year Arena was struggling. She had a very tough year, and how she stayed with her team. This is really means a lot for her as a person. So I understand that she really, and she was very honest to herself, and what they achieved during the US Open and the US Open, Australia Open, and the way she's playing now, it's really nice, and I'm really happy for them, and also for Rybakina. I remember her since juniors, and she was always very, very quiet person, very, like, correct. She's like just so perfect, and as a person she's very, very nice. And I remember her coach in 2017, he was working with other player, and when I saw him once in St. Petersburg tournament, and what he's achieving now with Rybakina, it's really unbelievable, and it's really nice how you can see more and more new coaches also. Not I think also in coaches the generation is changing, because before it was more old coaches, and their view, I don't say they're right or wrong, but it's always nice to see always somebody new, some new faces.
So Rybakina is still the same. Like you saw her in juniors, she's still the same.
She's
Yeah.
unbelievable. She's just so sweet.
And speaking about like Sabalenka, I think this year she really worked on her serve.
Hmm. I mean, surf. It's all mentally. It's not about the movement. It's all in your head. Unfortunately, this is the one of the shots which is in its coordination more than other ones. And once you start to doubt, you just lose the coordination. And so that's why, once you start to doubt, you start to double fault, because you lose your timing, your coordination during the serve. But yeah, I mean, really, I read some of her interviews, and the way she's talking and the way she sees, it's, I have huge respect for her.
So you have been an advocate of mental health awareness in tennis. You spoke openly about your struggles with anxiety and depression. Can you share your thoughts on the importance of mental health and the world of professional sports, and how did you manage to handle your mental health, basically? And also, like players like Naomi Osaka and Mardy Fish, they have been really vocal about their mental health. And nowadays you see like tennis professionals are traveling with a mental coach on their team. So can you share
Hmm.
your experience, like how did you handle back then?
Well, I had yes, I had few moments. I mean, I had not the best years. Also, when I stopped with tennis, I would say, yeah, I've been not the happiest person, if I could say so. Um, you know, at the end, um, maybe I'll sound a little bit weird or different. I would say, if I would know a little bit more history, I would see it happens to many people. And first to realize this is
Yes,
normal. So you are not unique,
yes,
that you're having depression, or you don't know what to do, or like I feel lonely or whatever. If you read more, um, history about people, you would say 99% have feeling the same. So this already helps you to find that you are not unique, and if something happens to you, that there are people who know how to
of course.
solve it, because you're not the only one in this world. This is first of all. And second, to realize what exactly is the problem. Not only first, apart from realizing, and then second, what do you want at the end? What is the problem? What do you want? What you're not happy in something, and you start to blame it, but what do you want for a change? What you want, that the people, to want to see you more. What is the deep inside your really wish? How would you be happy? So if you really take this point from your inside, what will make you happy? Not let's say like I want this because then the people like will like me more. Okay, what will give you if the people will like you more? And if you start to work on this, to get to the trigger point, you understand what is exactly your real wish from deep inside, then it will help you. And then from time to, you will start to know more your body, and like, and then sometimes to also to understand a little bit better yourself. Is it when you talk with someone, you start to feel a little bit nervous, and sometimes you can say like, is it my, inside I feel it, is it something wrong with me? So sometimes when you start to analyze, like, okay, everything is fine with me, like you start to check like, oh, this is fine, this is fine, then slowly it also calms you down. Because sometimes, you speak with a lot of people, and at the end of the day you can come home and feeling really really nervous, and sometimes it's not your problem, because you communicate with the people, and definitely would not be, it would be stupid, because you exchange energy. maybe it sounds stupid, but it does, like if you meet 10 people who are happy, and then you come to an evening home and you're like, you feel positive. But if you meet 10 people, who are depressed, you will come home, even if you are the happiest person in the world, you will start to feel, you will start to doubt. And then you have to, at that moment, you have to, I don't know, like take shower, to calm down and says like, okay, is it really me, or it's something that I took from the other people, like the news that I read, maybe, I don't know, the news that I heard, or the people that I spoke. And if you realize that it's something from outside, you say, okay, this is not me, and then you're becoming more to yourself. So this is I don't know about what we're talking. So this also helps, like this, to understand a little bit more yourself. Sometimes you're nervous because yourself nervous and doubting, or it's because you spoke with so many people.
So, so what I understand is you are not alone in the entire process. However, no matter how you feel, like you are not alone, and there are people who can solve this problem.
Yeah, this is what I said, like, yeah, no, from the beginning when we spoke, to say that when people, they start to have to being depressed, and to think like nobody understands me, and blah blah and blah blah. And that what I said, when you know a little bit more history, like a little bit more biography from other people, you will realize that you are not alone. Many people had the same. And this is already helps, because if they solve this problem, there are people who can solve your problem. Yeah, and this is if I take the generally in a big part. And what I was thinking, the other one, it's more like that sometimes just during the day, like if you feel a little bit at the end of the day tired or nervous, so this is just a little bit, like check up on your body if it's.
So moving on to some fan questions. So who
Mhm.
was your toughest opponent while you were playing?
Serena, no doubt.
Okay. And whom did you idolize while growing up? I know it's your brother, but the
Yeah.
motivation and everything was at home. You didn't have to go out. But besides your brother, who was?
Beside my brother, well, I had I really liked watching Lindsay Davenport. Honestly, I really liked at that moment to watch to support anyone who was number one in the world. Then it was my idol. So it was Venus Williams, then it was Lindsay Davenport, then it was Serena Williams. So it doesn't matter who was number one, was my idol. But I really never wanted to copy. This is the thing. But I would watch them, and I would look at them, and yeah.
So then finally you became world number one.
Yeah.
So, like, what do you miss about the tour? I know it's all traveling, jet lags, training sessions, hours at the gym, hours matches. So, what is one thing that you miss about the tour?
Miss, I think the players
The play-
that I used to compete, it's at the end of the day, it's one big family, with who you compete. You live together for like 11, 12 years, maybe more if it's a longer your career. So yeah, I would say is missing the, like our, oops, sorry, missing the family, the tournament family.
So, I just have one last question for you. Since you said like missing the players and they were like your
Hmm.
family, who were your best buddies on tour?
I didn't had like this like best, like they were all the same for me. Honestly, like I really, I cannot say best buddies, but I really had a lot of fun and admire a lot Lina.
Lena.
I think she was very
Okay,
nice.
and if I'm not wrong, you defeated Lena at Beijing Olympics semifinals.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay, so if she was your best friend, didn't you have issues and all? Like,
No, no, no. She was always very correct. Like this is was unbelievable from her. She was always correct. And she was always very nice. And I wouldn't say she was not. She was not my best buddies. We would never go for dinner, but it was somebody with whom it was always fun to practice. She would be always happy, saying hi. She was quite positive. Even something would be wrong, in, like, let's say, like during the year in her with her tennis, but she was always positive and smiling. But like this, to tell you the truth, like, okay, I would say, like, right now Sabalenka and Badosa, they're really like hanging out and they have a lot of fun. At our time, we didn't have like this, and I also didn't have any player that I would say like, oh, she's my, like, someone with who I would go for dinner and I would miss her like this.
All right. Okay. So thank you very much, Dinara, for your time today.
Thank you.
And it was lovely talking to you. And thank you so much. And I hope to be in
Okay.
touch.
Thank you very much. Thank
Very
you.
welcome. Bye.
Thank you, you too.